समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है, अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या समझ में नहीं आया?
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है, अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
There was uproar and scenes of chaos as the opposition went head-to-head with the Modi government on the floor of the House today. This as Home Minister Amit Shah presented 3 bills that are being considered amongst their most contentious proposals yet. The key bill at the heart of the debate, being referred to loosely as the Remove PM, Remove CM bill, basically allows, if it becomes law, for the removal of the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister of a state, or ministers in a state government or a union government to be removed if they have spent 30 days in jail on charges of corruption, even if they haven't been convicted. The opposition is saying that this is a means to weaponize investigative agencies against the opposition. That opposition leaders like Arvind Kejriwal, for example, who refused to resign after his arrest, those are the kind of politicians that the bill seeks to make an example of. We'll be looking today at this legislation or proposed law. Is it a landmark legislation or is it anti-democratic? I'm Barkha. You're with the Mojo story. These were the scenes in Parliament as the Home Minister got up to speak today. The opposition shouted and stood on its feet. The contentious new bill, being called the Remove PM, Remove CM bill, was torn by some opposition members and hurled in the direction of the Home Minister even as he spoke. There was absolute chaos, unprecedented scenes on the floor of the House. The opposition has alleged that this is a move to further weaponize investigative agencies by the Modi government against the opposition. The government, for its part, is saying that this is an attempt to clean up politics, and it applies not to one party but to all parties. What is the truth of these legislations? How should we look at them? What is the intent behind them? What might their execution look like? For now, the actuality of these becoming law have been somewhat kicked down the road. The bills have been referred to a parliamentary panel. But the debate is wide open. Is this the Modi government's most contentious proposed legislation yet? Let me introduce our guests on the program today as we look at the scenes of chaos and the fierce battle that took place on the floor of the House today, with Amit Shah going head-to-head with the opposition. Joining me now is Rajiv Pandey. Rajiv ji is a BJP leader and also a lawyer. Good to see you, Rajiv ji. Also joining me is Salman Soz, leader of the Congress Party. Good to see you, Salman. Dilip Cherian, Image Guru, political analyst, is with us. Always a pleasure. And Sandeep Ghosh, political analyst, is with us. I always say, and it's always important to remind people, Sandeep is a supporter of the Prime Minister, but not always of the government. And I find this nuance an interesting one. Let me start by just giving you an opening glimpse into what happened in Parliament today. This is when Amit Shah stood up to present the 3 interconnected bills, all with the centrality of this one contentious clause that will allow a senior politician, Prime Minister, Chief Minister, Minister, to be removed from their post without conviction after 30 days in jail. This is what happened when Amit Shah got up to speak.
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि भारत के संविधान का संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक, संघ राज्य क्षेत्र शासन अधिनियम 1963 का संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक और 2019 का और संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक को माननीय अध्यक्ष जी द्वारा नाम निर्दिष्ट किए जाने वाले इस सभा के 21 सदस्य और उपसभापति द्वारा नाम निर्दिष्ट करने वाले 10 सदस्यों के मिलकर
All right, so those were the scenes of a chaos that we saw on the floor of the House. There's much more that will bring you as to what happened in Parliament, including at one point, KC Venugopal close to Rahul Gandhi targeting Amit Shah for his own prior arrest when he was a state politician, to which Mr. Shah said that he had resigned before he went to jail. That snippet and much more coming up, but let's take opening comments first. I'll start with you, Salman. What is the objection to the bill? I understand that the intent is in doubt, but let's elaborate on what you're most concerned about.
No, Barkha, I think what we should understand is from the BJP. Why are they bringing the bill? Let the BJP spokesperson speak, and then I will respond.
Okay, Rajiv ji, let me bring your perspective in. What is the need for this bill? The fact of the matter is that the law will take its own course. If somebody is convicted, they will not be able to hold office. Why now? Why this timing? What is the reason for this bill? What is the reason?
Good evening, Barkha ji. Good evening to all. The issue is, when Indian Constitution was adopted, at that time people were not thinking that jail and they are not leaving their post. They never thought like this, Barkha ji. If you see the central services rules, if any central government employee is jailed for 48 hours, there is a deemed suspension. He cannot hold the same post. Am I right? Everybody is well aware about that. As far as the politicians are concerned, at least there was some aankh ka sharam that if you are charge sheeted, forget about going to jail. I can tell you, Lalu Prasad Yadav ji was charge sheeted by Congress government, but before going to jail, he resigned, though he put his wife on the CM's chair, but he did not go as a CM. Today, K.C. Venugopal ji said that you were also, Amit Shah ji was falsely implicated. He came out with court exonerated him. He also resigned. He did not go as a home minister or as a minister in jail. What I'm trying to say, there are some politicians, anybody I'm talking, forget about the party lines, I'm not talking about that. Tomorrow somebody can be charged under UAPA for terror-related cases, and then he will say, no, I will not resign. What to do that? That's why if you see, there are three aspects. As a lawyer, I can tell you, Barkha ji. It is said 30 days. Why 30 days? Congress party, as usual, they are followers of Rahul Gandhi. They cannot understand. Why 30 days? Why 40 days not? Or why 15 days? Or why not even 48 hours? I'll tell you the reason. What I understand, I have no information, but as a lawyer, I understood. In normal cases, the maximum police custody is 14 days, ma'am. And in UAPA as well as PMLA and all the stringent cases like Makoka, or in this maximum police custody is 30 days, ma'am. So if a court sees that after 30 days of police investigation or 15 days police investigation, still this man is so disturbing and dangerous that.
Okay, Rajiv ji, you're not on the best connection. I'm going to request you to reconnect, but I think we've got the gist of your argument. Salman, do you want to come in at this point? I think he's talking about a recalcitrant politician who may be charged with heinous charges, who then quite simply refuses to leave his post. He's made an opening comment. I hope his connection will be better when he reconnects. Go ahead and respond.
Well, first, just on Amit Shah's case, yes, he resigned, and he was not forced to resign, and that is precisely the point, that people have to have that option. It's a voluntary thing. Here, what you're doing is basically saying that we will not allow jurisprudence to exist. We will basically not let the judiciary do its job. We will basically do whatever we have to, either through governors who are basically, for all practical purposes, have become a draconian kind of arm of the central government. And then they kind of put in these niceties about how the prime minister is going to be removed, etc. If the prime minister is arrested, who the hell is going to arrest the prime minister? Which agency of government is going to even accuse the prime minister of any wrongdoing? So that is one. The second part is that if you look at, I think Rajiv ji mentioned PMLA and these cases that are brought against so many people. I guess if you look at Enforcement Directorate, in Parliament, the government basically made a statement that out of 5,892 cases since January 1st, 2015, up to June 30th, 2025, ED has a conviction. They've convicted 8 people. 8. And what is the law? What is the twin test? The twin test is basically the judge has to first say that prima facie there is no case against an accused, and second is that if the judge wants to give bail, has to basically make sure that this person is not going to commit another crime. Which judge is going to be able to do that? Nobody. And despite the Supreme Court trying to kind of get the government to back down, the government came up with a reformulation of the law. Now that's the other part of it. So, and by the way, how many ED cases have been filed against the opposition? Out of, I think, 197, there have been 2 convictions. All of them, 98%, are against the opposition. Not one against the BJP leader. Now, so it's very easy to say or to see how you could have a case against an opposition leader, a trumped-up case, and I have a list of opposition leaders. I have at least 75 people on my list who come from various parties against whom the ED has acted in one way or another. Now, how difficult is it for a government to file these cases? Do you remember Rahul Gandhi's case of, the judge basically convicted him exactly of a 2-year, it was a 2-year sentence, exactly what was needed for disqualification. And, so it's not difficult to see how you could put a chief minister or a minister away for 30 days, get anybody to remove them, and that's what they want to do to our democracy.
I mean, the BJP might argue. I hear you, but the
5 seconds. And all of this urgency towards the end of the session, it's all because these guys are now being destroyed on the streets of India because of our campaign, because of their theft. These people will teach us propriety. These are the guys who fought elections using money that was ultimately declared illegal by the Supreme Court through electoral bonds. These guys are going to teach us propriety. These are guys who are going to bring honesty into politics. These guys, Amit Shah was, by the way, Amit Shah, when he was exiled by the Supreme Court because they were concerned that he would tamper with the investigation. He does not say that in Parliament. He should say that in Parliament.
Okay, I want to actually play out that bit
I will
where...
take 30 seconds to respond.
Okay, can you respond? And then I want to play out Mr. Amit Shah and Mr. Venugopal's debate. Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
Because I could not complete my statement.
Yes, please.
I am happy that Soj Sahab has raised one very important point. Prosecution complaint was filed 1087. In that, only 7 or 8 are political parties cases. Barkha ji, just note this point. 1087 prosecution complaint. Only disposal has taken place in 52 cases only. So they are talking that it's only about the convict. Only 15 people were convicted because only 42 cases could be completed. You can recall Lalu Prasad Yadav was charge seated in 7-8 case, ma'am. It took years, but finally he was convicted in 5 matters. What I'm trying to say, Barkha ji, the day this 1087 case is completed, disposed of, that day only we will talk about the conviction rate or acquittal rate. Why they are not talking about the acquittal rate? They should bring the data that what is the acquittal rate. Even in IPC, which is prosecuted by all state agencies, conviction rate is only 50%. So in PMLA and UAPA, just one line more, PMLA and UAPA, in UAPA 98%. For the terror-related charges. Now what Congress party is trying to do, that one terrorist tomorrow becomes somehow CM, PM and minister, then even if he is inside, he should not. I am asking only one line. Where is the morality has gone? That Arvind Kejriwal, you see, there are 2 cases happened before the election, ma'am. One happened in Jharkhand, where CM Sahab resigned. But in the case of Arvind Kejriwal, he made it a drama. He's a drama man. And that's why if morality has gone down, then the law has.
I think Rajiv ji, the central concern is this: today the BJP is in power. Tomorrow you could be in the opposition. What this will potentially allow any government to do. 1 minute. Let me. Abhi mujhe bole do. What this will potentially allow any government to do is to weaponize investigative agencies against their political opponents. I just ask you to pause with that question because I want to play out what happened in Parliament when KC Venugopal, known for his closeness to Rahul Gandhi, stands up and says, Amit Shah, what happened to your morality when you were arrested? The Home Minister gives a very fierce reply and talks about how he resigned before he went to jail. Take a look at this exchange.
This bill is to bring morality in politics. Can I ask a question to the Honorable Home Minister? When he was the Home Minister of Gujarat, he had been arrested, sir. Whether he took the morality of
मुझे सुनो ना, पहले बैठ जाओ। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं रिकॉर्ड क्लियर करना चाहता हूं। मुझ पर झूठे आरोप लगाए तब अरेस्ट होने के पहले मैंने नैतिकता के मूल्यों का हवाला देकर इस्तीफा भी दिया और जब तक मैं कोर्ट से निर्देश नहीं हुआ, कोई संविधान को मैंने स्वीकार नहीं किया। ये क्या सिखाते हैं नैतिकता में? मैं तो इस्तीफा देकर गया था और मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि ये नैतिकता के मूल्य बढ़े। हम ऐसे निर्लज्ज नहीं हो सकते कि हम पर आरोप लगे और हम संवैधानिक पद पर हैं। अरेस्ट के पहले मैंने इस्तीफा दिया है।
So what Mr. Shah is saying there is that he did not return to holding a post till he got a clean chit from the courts. Before I come back to the politicians, I want Dilip and Sandeep to at least get a word in edgeways. Dilip, I'll start with you. What do you think explains the timing of this particular legislation and how do you see it?
Barkha, what's very clear is that all of us here are either being misled or this is a good case of diverticulitis, attention being diverted at this point of time. It's very simple. We have to try and figure out who is this aimed at. You do know that the BJP, when it brings a legislation, has an end objective or a goal in mind.
Yes.
It may be said that the goal is to clean up public life, but that's not how it works. What we don't have is the answer to the conundrum. Who are they targeting if they were inspired by the fact that Arvind Kejriwal did not resign? That's one. Number two, look at how the global scenario in this case plays out. If you are arrested or you are charged in America, you go before the court and you either plead guilty or not guilty. If you're not guilty, you walk and life continues as it is till the trial is complete. In India, it's exactly the opposite. You go to jail and you wait till you get bail. So, whether it's 30 days, 20 days, 10 days, the fact is that is the way our system works. And you may say that process is the only punishment because cases last for far too long. But whatever that may be, that is the way justice works in India. And landmark legislations of this kind need to take into account what is the situation on the ground. If indeed, as has been said already, that sometimes we have situations where agencies become instruments of governmental power, then this is a danger that both the opposition and thinking people in the government should be concerned about. I think that's what we need to focus on, that it is not the same across the world, and therefore this law could potentially have more chances of misuse in a country like India.
And you believe that it's also an attempt to change the headlines?
Absolutely, and without a doubt. That's the timing.
What's the headline they're trying to change?
I think that the one headline that seems to persist at the moment is, of course, the Election Commission and its depredations.
Okay. Sandeep, how do you see it? Do you see this as a kind of political move to change the headlines, to divert from the row taking place between the opposition and the Election Commission. A row, by the way, into which the BJP has also waded in, with Anurag Thakur also talking about voter fraud. Is that what's happening here?
Barkha, there are three things I'd like to quickly make a point. First of all, I find it quite amusing. Congress has the history of Rahul Gandhi tearing an ordinance.
Yeah.
Earlier on pretty similar grounds, that was about a convicted MP or a convicted politician. Similarly, Venugopal has literally put his foot into his mouth by charging Amit Shah of not resigning when Amit Shah clarified that he did resign much before. So they don't even do fact checks. That's the quality, the standard of Congress parliamentarians or even Congress politicians, as we are seeing in so many instances in even this vote chori case, where they have either concocted evidence or you're trying to cherry pick or take half truths, etc. So that is the Congress part of it, leaving aside. Interestingly, I saw two clips. One was Shashi Tharoor and one I was just seeing just now about Prashant Kishore. Both of them seem to have supported this ordinance. They're saying in principle.
Can I play out the Shashi Tharoor one? Though Shashi Tharoor has subsequently said it's clickbait journalism to imply that he has a different. I'll play out the statement. I'll play out the statement nevertheless, and then you can complete your point. So let's play out Shashi Tharoor.
No, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know those bills well enough to give you a comment. On the face of it, it seems reasonable that anyone who does anything wrong should be liable to punishment and should not be holding a high constitutional office or a political office. I think that makes sense.
So that's all he said. Go ahead, Sandeep. And he subsequently tweeted saying that, my words were distorted. This is clickbait journalism.
And Prashant Kishore has again been quoted just now to say that the fathers of our constitution didn't anticipate of this kind of morality among politicians. So this is, he says he welcomes this thing. That apart, I take Dilip's point or even about Shashi Tharoor saying clickbait journalism or whatever, and Mr. Souza's point, BJP is being beaten on the street. Unfortunately, according to Congress, BJP gets beaten on the street every 3 months, but they come back with a bang. And if at all, by playing these kind of diversionary tactics, which the opposition walks into. And that's the beauty of maybe BJP doing it, and they must learn something from that. So the point to oppose these bills is not to tear it and throw it into the well of the House, argue them on merits. There is certainly a question of this, whether somebody should be made to resign before conviction or not, or whether you should build other safeguards into it. And as you rightly said, this could cut both ways. Tomorrow, if BJP is not in power, somebody else could be doing, and that's precisely what Congress keeps on threatening, that if we come to power, the next day the Prime Minister will be in jail. So if they're saying that Prime Minister and Chief Ministers will be jailed, what is they bothered about? If they're threatening everybody from Election Commissioner down the line, everybody they'll put into jail, they should welcome this bill. That will kind of make their life much simpler as they're so confident of coming into power day after tomorrow.
Okay, before Salman Soz and Rajiv Patel get back into the debate, let me play out Ravi Shankar Prasad giving an account of the full chaos that actually took place in Parliament today. We saw only glimpses of it as we see those bills being shredded and hurled in the direction of the Home Minister. This is Ravi Shankar Prasad talking about what happened inside the House.
आज ये बहुत ही पीड़ादायक है, बहुत दुख देने वाला है। वरिष्ठ सांसद लोग इस तरह का व्यवहार करेंगे, फिजिकल अटैक की कोशिश करेंगे, कागज में लपेटकर ढेला फेंकेंगे। ये मतलब क्या है इसका? क्या परेशानी है आपको इस बिल से? इसीलिए कि ये बिल केजरीवाल ऐसे लोग जो जेल जाते हैं, इस्तीफा नहीं देते, उसके लिए उपाय कर रहा है। और इस बिल में ये भी प्रावधान है कि जैसे ही आपको बेल मिल गया, आप वापिस आकर के फिर बैठ जाएंगे। लेकिन कुछ लोग जो नैतिकता की दुहाई देकर के भी जेल जाकर भी शासन चलाते हैं, उससे भारत के राजनीतिक शुचिता कमजोर होती है, शर्मिंदा होती है। उसी को एड्रेस करने का बिल तो है, और उस पर इतना हंगामा। बंगाल के लोग बहुत परेशान है क्या?
Okay, Let's come back to Salman Soz and Rajiv Pandey. I'll start with you, Rajiv Pandey. Respond to Dilip Cherian's point that this is a headline diversion, that the Election Commission face-off with the opposition doesn't suit the BJP, that even if you think that Rahul Gandhi has got all his facts wrong, the fact is that the phrase vote chori has now entered the Bihar campaign language, and therefore you want a diversion. Dilip didn't join the dots in this way, but he said there's a diversion attempt here. How do you respond to that, Rajivji?
You are helping him to join the dots. No issue, I'll respond.
No, I'm just being provoked. I'm just asking a genuine question.
Yeah, I got your point. That's a very important point. That's I will come. But before that, you had asked me about the weaponization of the law.
Yes.
Congress party weaponized the law when there was no law like this. MISA they brought communal violence bill. That only majority will be responsible for all communal rights. People of this country are very smart and very energetic, and they know their rights. Congress could not muster courage to bring that bill. People of this country wants this bill. That dramabaz like this Kejriwal cannot run government from Tihar jail. So it is the people. We are constitutional democracy, ma'am. And second point, if Kejriwal is going to jail, I think Atisi Marlena was less corrupt than Kejriwal. So we are in a democracy. We have so many MPs in the party. If any party is forming government, 272 people are there in the center. In the every state, there will be more than 50% people. Why they are so obsessed with one man? They can make. You see, Hemant Sorenji resigned, got bail, again became NC. He contested election, he defeated BJP, ma'am. Barkha, do you understand? Yeah. That is first point. Second point about this diversion, I am coming. I am telling you, I am from Bihar. I am settled in Mumbai and stay at Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi. SIR, I am happy that opposition party is making that issue. I'll tell you. It should reach to the common people that in Bihar, out of 65, 22 lakhs are, or I think because of the deaths, this has been deleted. Rest, who are these people? There can be some, some person name can be cut, or in my village, not a single issue has erupted. It is more than 2,000 votes. But in the area of Simanchal, the area where we know what kind of people are being helped to make that, West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, every vote should be rechecked by the special intensive revision. What is wrong in that? I want that every Bihari voter should know that who is trying to snatch your vote.
So you're saying
very important line. Only one line.
Okay,
I am only saying every Bihari voter should know that your power of your vote is being reduced by opposition, by importing voters, like in West Bengal, Bihar, Assam. Every vote should be checked. Rajiv Pandey vote should be checked. No problem. Come and check my vote.
In effect, you do not agree with Dilip Cherian that the BJP needs a change in headline from SIR. All right. Salman, my question to you is a little bit different. Everybody talks till this date about Rahul Gandhi opposing the ordinance of the then UPA government that was seen to be brought in to shield leaders like Lalu Prasad Yadav. Very different context. It was about those convicted. Here, I think the concern is, of course, as you mentioned, that, the process is sometimes the punishment. So, therefore, there is a concern that it could be weaponized. But it could cut both ways. Tomorrow, this law could be used against the BJP as well, right?
Well, Barkha, first of all, process is not sometimes the punishment, as we have seen more and more. Process is the punishment now. I think for most Indians, I think that has become it's become like anything. It's not just about the law. It could be getting a document from the government. It could be anything. The process is the punishment, and that is what people are basically fed up with. And all this business of trying to create ease of living, etc. I think we all know how easy it is to live in India. Now, as far as this other point of the BJP could be potentially tomorrow's victim. The BJP is not in the business of trying to be a victim in the future, because they want to ensure that nobody can take their position in power. That's the whole idea. This whole thing, whatever is happening right now, the way they've been trying to run this country, is so that they amass a lot of money and power, so that they don't yield power, so that they become a long-lasting kind of a ruling party, so that they outlast the current generation of the opposition. But that is not going to happen, because I can see that these people are on the defensive. Whether this is a diversionary tactic or not, I think it is. Because they are taking a beating right now. And by the way, I mean, there's so many obvious kind of problems with what is happening right now. The Election Commission says that Rahul Gandhi has to, within 1 week, has to basically give an affidavit or apologize. Meanwhile, Anurag Thakur, the BJP kind of MP, can say similar things, but of course he did not make a PowerPoint presentation. And that's stupid. Come on. I mean, who are you kidding? So now let us look at the data. The data is clear. I mean, in between 2014 and 2021, I have it here that 173 candidates of the BJP were opposition MPs and MLAs who had switched parties to the BJP, and they had ED cases, and after they switched, they're sitting maze se. The weaponization of law enforcement agencies against opposition, against dissenters, against anybody who has a contrarian view, I think that is a serious threat to Indian democracy. We should not take it lying down. And I think we should take it with all seriousness. And I know the BJP says, oh, हमारे साथ भी कल हो सकता है. कहाँ से हो सकता है? वो तो देखा जाएगा कल किसने देखा यहाँ पे. We have to think about today. Okay.
Before Rajivji rebuts, because I have to give equal time to everybody, I also want to play out. I think Sandeep alerted us to Prashant Kishor's statement. He has supported Rahul Gandhi on the vote chori allegations, but on this bill, he seems to be supporting the government. Take a look.
भाई, क्रिमिनल बिल जो लाया जा रहा है वो इसलिए लाया जा रहा है कि जब संविधान बना होगा तब शायद संविधान बनाने वालों को, देश के निर्माताओं को इस बात का एहसास ही नहीं रहा होगा कि लोग, सत्ता में बैठे हुए लोग इतने करप्ट हो जाएंगे, इतने भ्रष्टाचारी हो जाएंगे, इतने बड़े क्रिमिनल होंगे कि उनको जेल जाना पड़ेगा, और उससे भी बढ़कर कि वो जेल जाने के बाद भी अपना पद नहीं छोड़ेंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि जो बिल आ रहा है वो ठीक बिल है कि अगर आप पर कोई इल्जाम है, आपको जेल में जाना पड़ रहा है, तो आप जेल से बैठकर सत्ता नहीं चला सकते हैं। तो ये कानून जहां तक मैं समझता हूं ठीक है।
So let me get Dilip and Sandeep to talk about this comment, and then we'll come right back for a round of final comments. Dilip, Prashant Kishore, intriguing positioning, supporting Mr. Gandhi on the vote chori, quote unquote, issue, but Mr. Amit Shah on this bill. What do you make of it?
I think that there is a underlying commentary that is pointing to create the impression that the opposition is corrupt, and therefore this bill is to try and muzzle them and to make sure that the corrupt cannot rule the people. That's what Prashant Kishore's main text in Bihar has been, that Bihar has been ruled by the corrupt, and he does not exclude anybody except himself as far as that is concerned, and that is his line. So it fits in well with the narrative at the center, which is what the ruling party is trying to say, is that those against us are in the majority corrupt, and therefore we need to muzzle their ability to run governments when they are in jail. That's the broad narrative. Prashant Kishore supporting it fits in with his narrative for Bihar. So he is playing a local game based on a more federal kind of messaging, which the BJP is doing. He is, as you can see, also very clear that the SIR thing is something that is giving him a benefit because it runs into the vote chori, quote unquote, as you like to say, thematic, which is now running very strong in Bihar.
Yeah. I think that's a fair analysis that Prashant Kishore is playing a local game. He's taking parts of Rahul Gandhi's campaign that suit him, parts of Amit Shah's campaign that suit him. I would say that's sort of bang on. Sandeep, in terms of perception, how do you think this is going to play out? It's a technical argument. A lot of people don't understand it. But the moti baat is, bhai, jail se sarkar nahi chalani chahiye. if you distill it down, that is one narrative. The other narrative is this is just another way to weaken the opposition, to weaken institutions. Can we unmute Sandeep? I can't hear you, Sandeep. Yeah.
Barkha, you said right at the beginning, this bill has been kicked down, the can has been kicked down to the parliamentary committee, etc. I think that's a very, very perceptive comment. But BJP is doing this repeatedly. There are a lot of bills being introduced which will not see the light of day or even after, even if it's passed in parliament in a long time, but they are able to get the narrative out of it. So right now, in all these things, they are saying, see, we wanted to bring this bill to actually root out, but the opposition stalled us. Okay, and then the opposition is not serving its own purpose by opposing this bill rather than arguing it in a cogent, logical manner in the parliament by just tearing and throwing it. They're just helping BJP's cause to see we wanted to bring such a good bill which is going to keep the corrupt out. But look at corrupt opposition, because they're afraid that they will have to go to jail and they will be thrown out of power. They're not allowing us to bring the bill. So these are self-goals the opposition is today creating. And that's why I said Mr. Soos may be very right that every 3 months BJP is on the mat. But they come up like, one of wrestlers or boxers from there to again punch the hell out of the opposition there. We heard the same story about Chaukidar Chore. Now we are hearing the same story about vote chori. But the jury is out who will finally come out. And I suspect BJP gets its act much better than at least the Congress, the new Congress, which has
except Sandeep, just one point there. Except that you can no longer say that it's only the Congress that is alleging vote chori. It is also Anurag Thakur who's alleging it.
No, Anurag Thakur has said but they've even BJP said there were vote chori or this kind of things in Raebareli or elsewhere, and everybody said that vote chori, in the sense rigging, is as old as the lexicon. Election has been on the lexicon. People have said how Congress has used it even in Nehru's time to defeat some of his adversaries.
I think Dilip is wanting to come in, and then I'll come to Salman. And sorry, Dilip, you wanted to come in?
I don't think we should proceed without all of us observing a moment of silence to watch the beatific grin on the face of the speaker. It is really a study which actually merits all of us paying due respect to it.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out.
All speakers, Dilip, if you are aspire for that post, you've also got the mind. You make a very good speaker. Because whether it is
President, I think it merits
Meera Kumar or
he's saying you would make a great speaker also because you have the same beatific smile. Okay, to return to more serious issues at hand, Salman. I think the point Sandeep is making is, why didn't the opposition argue this? Why paro the bill, throw it? What is achieved by that?
Well, I tend to think that times have changed. I think this is not the same India that we had some years back. I think there's a lot more skepticism of the BJP and the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is no longer that uber popular leader, as far as I can tell. He may still be very popular in many circles, but I don't see him with the same level of popularity that he had, say, post-2019. I think he's a very diminished leader, especially because of his own constituency in Varanasi. I mean, you win the seat by 5 lakh votes, and then you end up winning by 1,50,000. And that too, there are many allegations about how he was trailing in the earlier rounds, and then they made up ground with some help, apparently. That's just an allegation. But how can you have the kind of standing in politics when your second in command wins by 8 lakh votes or something, and you win by 1.5 lakhs, and you're supposed to be dominating? So he's no longer that dominant leader, and I think people are much more willing to listen to the opposition, and I think that's why this vote chori story has a lot of traction. I think it is doing a lot of damage to the BJP. And as far as this, Sandeep's kind of criticism of what happened in Parliament. I think now we're in a stage where we have to employ everything possible, because the BJP has played scorched earth politics, right? They've destroyed norms of electoral politics in India, and we have to fight back. We cannot just sit and be nice and say, okay, we'll be the nice people, we'll look after democratic norms, we'll look after parliamentary norms. Meanwhile, the other guys are basically taking a bazooka to us. I don't think that can work any longer, and it should not. And by the way, on this particular issue, I mean, you have very serious concerns, right? Serious issues. You're taking an axe to federalism, right? You've already done that. I mean, look at my own state. I mean, the lieutenant governor basically vetoes anything that Umar Abdullah is the elected chief minister is not allowed to go and mourn the martyrs of Kashmir. This is ridiculous. This is
the funny thing on a sidebar on J&K is that because the J&K reorganization bill also has to be amended to make this law a possibility, everybody thought that the bill coming today was to restore statehood, but that was of course not the case.
Yes, and by the way, so
let me get Rajiv now. You want to wrap up your point? No, you can have a last sentence, Salman.
Just saying
have a last sentence.
You're going after federalism. You're going against the presumption of innocence. That is at the foundations of law.
Okay, that's an important point, Rajiv ji. You're a lawyer. The presumed innocent until proven guilty is at the heart of our legal process, right? We are the country that gave Ajmal Kasab due process, even though everybody saw on TV that he came with those rifles and he killed the people he did. That is the due process we believe in. I think the point is that you're saying that this is not about guilt and innocence, it's about standards of public morality. Standards of public morality are best not policed. They are best left to conscience, some might argue. What would you say?
Presumption of innocence, these two laws which they are claiming to be misused, that is PMLN, UAPA, both were brought by, I think, Chidambaram and Congress Sarkar. These were the twin test on the bail was also brought by Chidambaram and Congress government. So don't take all these things. I think for terrorist in Kasab, we did not grant him bail and tell him you become CM. So don't compare apple with orange. That is my first point. Second point, Congress party and opposition is politically unable to fight. They could not find out any corruption cases, anything. So every election, they started Rafale issue. Now they are talking vote chori issue. One thing which Soj Sahab has said right now, I think Soj Sahab is not corrupt, so he is sitting with Barkha ji. If he is corrupt, he will go to jail. Very simple. I am sitting with you. I am a practicing lawyer. I have my all accounts clear. What I am trying to tell you, he is talking about Pradhan Mantri ji has won only by 150,000 votes. In this country, one Pradhan Mantri was defeated by Raj Narayan ji. Still, he became the all leader, big leader. You should have thrown out that time your forefathers of the Congress party. So let's not talk about that what has happened. Country is not the same country. You are right. One thing I am happy, Barkha ji, on this show, I am agreeing with Congress spokesperson that country is not the same. I agree with him. The reason is, now this country cannot be divided for personal interest. I am telling you. At that time, few lakhs people decided and they did not leave this country. From Uttar Pradesh to Bihar, these voters who voted for Pakistan, they did not go. They should have gone there.
Who voted for Pakistan? Who voted for Pakistan? ये तो कहीं और ही चले गए हम.
I am talking about their country is not the same because no prime minister will divide the country for his own post. I am saying this. Understand? He is saying country is not the same. I agree with him. This country is not of 1947.
So we have.
So, madam, you have here said when countries.
No. आप बोले.
Quiet. I agree with him first time. Country is not the same. That constitution will be not suspended, which Indira ji did. Constitution is not the same when Congress divided this country. Constitution is not the same when leaders were killed and several leaders in Bihar were killed by the police officers in emergency. Country is not the same that 4,006 were burned alive by Congress party in Delhi where I am sitting and joining you on a show. So country is not the same. I agree. Let's not debate that because Soj Sahab has started. Last line, final point. This bill is a very good bill, ma'am. And when the conscious, a person like Kejriwal becomes CM, who is going to jail and not resigning. I am giving you an example, ma'am, that Hemant Soren is not from BJP. He is my opposition party. He is from Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. He resigned, went to jail, got the bail, again became CM, won the election. That means only corrupt and thieves are opposing this bill.
Okay.
And no person, minister, chief minister, or PM cannot run the country from Tihar jail, ma'am. This is my final statement on this point. Thank you.
Okay, Salman, very quick, just one line interjection, because I do want to give the closing words to Sandeep and Dilip.
Frankly, I worry about the clients that Rajiv ji has, because of course for him only corrupt people are going to oppose something like this, because if that is the standard, then imagine where BJP is going to take this country. And by the way, India has changed, of course, by the way, when the entire political leadership of Jammu and Kashmir is arrested. By the way, 300 opposition MPs are not allowed to march to the Election Commission office. In the capital of this country, India has changed. But that is not the India we want. We are going to change India back to being a decent country where people have rights, and we are going to fight for them. And
like 1984.
Okay. Time out for Congress and the BJP. Before I give the closing comments to Sandeep and Dilip, couple of interesting comments from our audience stream. Sort of Vishesh, well, there's a great workaround for these bills. There are always spouses available to take over constitutional posts for their arrested spouses in absentia. We have seen this happen before. Prasad says this is a good bill, but the 1 month time limit needs to be changed to 6 months. That brings accountability as well as fairness from the legal system to the accused CM or PM. I'll come to you, Sandeep. We have seen a kind of middle class support on anti-corruption issues whipped up by none other than Arvind Kejriwal, who was hoisted by his own petard, so to speak, right? And it is easy, you go on the street and you'll say, people will say, "Ha, sab neta chor hai, acha hua, jail mein dala, mat karne do." We have been in this moment before, and we have also seen the dangers of that moment. Kejriwal himself has paid the price for that kind of simplistic, kind of kangaroo court drawing room judgments of guilt and innocence. I say this because I saw the figures reflected on the Mojo poll that we took. If we can have it back, we have more people backing the idea of the bill than not. 59% think it's a good idea. 41% say no, it can be misused politically. But I'm just saying we've been in this moment before. Sandeep, your thoughts?
Barkha, that's precisely the point. I think the middle class and the citizens at large have been repeatedly let down by our politician class by making these tall promises before they come to power and subsequently, either not following through. And if I may say so, without inviting any reprimand, even the judiciary, because of our process of, prolonged cases taking years and years to settle, have let them down. So sometimes even such laws, which may prima facie appear to be draconian, I think gets a positive nod from the people, but they say that, okay, here is something which will actually leave little option, but for people to act, rather than people have become cynical of our justice system, or even the will of politicians. As I said, today somebody may be saying tomorrow, as soon as they come to power, as we have seen Arvind Kejriwal talking about Sheila Dikshit or anybody else, it doesn't happen. So the public, I think, to that extent feels, to some extent, even though they may be skeptical whether this is going to come through or not, they will support it. And I'm not surprised, even I will support it, despite knowing there are lacunae, there can be misuse, there can be various things. We would say at least something is there. People can invoke this kind of stuff if need be, because a lot of things which you see around you, it really we find revolting as honest tax-paying citizens who vote with a lot of hope, irrespective of the party. But finally, one hint to Congress, one good campaign ploy could be that BJP is so certain that Rahul Gandhi is going to become Prime Minister. They have included Prime Minister in this bill. so that they can use the ED to get after him when he becomes Prime Minister and dislodge him from power. So this could be a trump card.
All right, let me give the closing comment to Dilip before we're back in a Congress BJP sort of argument on this show. Dilip, you said it's to divert the headlines, but the bill has been sent to a parliamentary panel. It's a one-day story to that extent. It's a storm in a teacup till the panel decides otherwise. The panel will hammer it out. There will be changes. There will be, I mean, this could take many months. This isn't happening now. So to that extent, to what end does the diversion work?
I think the diversion works to the extent that there is no doubt that the country has changed, as Sanjay said, as Sandeep said. The fact is that today corruption is the leitmotif of politics. We expect our politicians to be corrupt more than to be clean. Unfortunately, that is the situation of leadership. In a morally corrupt situation like that, a bill like this is bound to have its takers, it's bound to have its advantages, and it's bound to have its political point scoring advantage. I feel that today a honest parliamentary debate is what the public genuinely would like to see. Unfortunately, that's not happening. And in its absence, you have rhetoric, suspicions, and conspiracies floating to the top, which is not a good thing for democracy.
Okay, Rajiv, do you have a line there before I close?
Ma'am, only one line. I agree with Dilip Sahab that country has changed. Now we have more, internet coverage. Barkha ji must be heard in Tamil Nadu village also, and in my village also in Bihar, near the border of the Nepal. Okay, in Mithilanchal. So this is good. We are discussing. Parliament is also, I agree with Dilip Sahab that it should be debated. You debate and decide. And one last line, I want to say, Sol Sahab, country has changed to that position now. No Girja Tikku will be cut by RE. If anybody does this, that person can be taken care. You have seen how responded this Pahalgam attack. So country has changed. No 1984, no 47, no 1989. Country has changed, and anybody tries to do that, they will be taken to task. Thank you.
Okay, the debate carries on. We wish it had taken place in Parliament and not just on programs like this one. A robust debate is the minimum that this bill is owed. But it is a bill that has gone to a parliamentary panel where I'm sure it is going to be fiercely debated. I don't think you're going to see any immediate outcomes of this proposal, which leads us to ask the political question. Was this a headline diversion? Is there some other plan in mind? We are entering election season. We are awaiting the dates for the Bihar election to be announced. And you're going to see a lot more of these debates, I think, in the months to come. We leave it there to Rajiv Pandey, to Salman Soos, Dilip Cherry, and Sandeep Ghosh. Namaskar. Always a pleasure. Take care. Thank you. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.